Part 50. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 491. Totally fried. A plain channel has already made people panic, and now another plain channel is suddenly opened. For the people on Earth, this is a disaster that can destroy everything. They feel fear from the bottom of their hearts, want to retreat, and even dodge subconsciously. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and sighed softly. The situation became worse and worse. The east wall has just been repaired, and the west wall has collapsed again. And now, he can only barely support the current situation. Bingfa Anken, first clean up the orcs around the northern capital city. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, according to the current situation, it seems that this is the only way to do it. Those orcs who came out of the passageway of the northern capital city have not only swept the entire northern capital city, but what's more, they have gradually expanded towards the surrounding area. What Fang Fan needs to do now is to completely cut off the orcs around the northern capital city. The ghost knows when a group of orcs will rush out of this face channel again. My lord, a few cards dropped from that king-level orc. Galen rushed over and said in surprise. When slaughtering those ordinary orcs before, no cards were released at all. Now, how can you kill a king-level orc and drop cards? This is really surprising. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, holding 3 cards in his hand, and he didn't quite understand. Could it be that you can only get cards by slaughtering king-level orcs? Fang Fan nodded secretly, and now he can only think so. Advanced Beast Slave card. Barbarian Bloodline card. 1-star King level Beast Soul card. Advanced Beast Slave card. After use, you can compulsorily make an orc with a 10-star level and below as your war slave. Barbarian Bloodline card. After use, you can get Barbarian Bloodline. 1-star King level Beast Soul card. The soul of a 1-star King level beastman is sealed inside, which can be strengthened through refining. Fang Fan looked at the 3 cards in front of him. All of them were quite precious cards, but obviously, these must be cards dropped by orcs. The orc breath inside is too strong. Fang Fan secretly raised his eyebrows, and the surprised look in his eyes was obvious. Advanced Beast Slave card, used to collect orc war slaves. The Barbarian Bloodline card doesn't have much to say. However, this Star King level Beast Soul card is a bit interesting, refining and strengthening one's own body. Refining the Beast Soul, it's the first time I've heard it. Fang Fan thought so in his heart, and the surprised look on his face became more and more obvious. Now is not the time to struggle with these, let's go out to fight first, make a strategic plan. Call. Killing this wave of orcs, I have almost gained 1,000 killing points. As for the heroes such as Galen Vega that were distributed together, there are almost 400 or 500. It adds up to a total of more than 1,000 killing points. According to the algorithm of 10 killing points in exchange for 1 heaven-passing divine jade, it can be exchanged for more than 100 pieces. Although it seems a little less, but everything is difficult at the beginning, this also provides a direction. Fang Fan nodded secretly, and the smile on the corner of his mouth gradually condensed. Country M, Huajin City. Waves of orc armies surged frantically from the plain passage, and they rushed out under the leadership of the orc leaders as if they were tireless. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 492. The M people who were gloating on misfortune not long ago, now when disaster befalls them, they sadly discover how helpless this feeling is. God! God! Help us! They're rushing out again. It's terrifying. We can't take it anymore. Hua Shield City can't stay, so many orcs. Hoo, my entire 7-star legion was killed as soon as I pushed it up. Hey, such a war is no longer necessary. Who will save us? You. Huajing. Huajing has a patron saint of Fangfan. What about our country M? Can we only be destroyed? Who will save our country M? Country M united with many other countries to form the Alliance of Nations, to oppose the Alliance of Thousand Nations formed by Lord Fangfan. Hi, they form an alliance. That's their business. We only focus on one thing now. Who will save us? Damn. These superiors. Are they consuming our loyalty? The bloody war continues. The era that belongs to them has never come. Only by experiencing it for yourself can you know the horror of it. Originally, when Huajing suffered, they could mock and laugh at will and stand by. They really want these horrible things to happen to them. At this moment, they can only suffer silently. World Babel Dialogue Box. Members of the Alliance of Nations. Quickly come to support M country. M country can't hold it anymore. Hoo, I am the lord of the M country Manson, and I am Manson Meyer. I am the leader of the Alliance of the Gods. I ask you to come to help. In the territory of M, in fact, the most powerful country is actually the Manson country. Before, he was the one who took the lead in opposing joining the Thousand Kingdoms battle power ranking organized by Fangfan. The reason they gave is also very simple. They felt that Fangfan wanted to pull their strength and be buried with Huajing. It can only be said that these ideas are really very naive. When Huajing was in danger, they chose to stand by and watch, and even sneered sarcastically. But now, disaster has befallen his head, and everything has changed. Now running over is to die. What kind of alliance of nations, should have been disbanded long ago. I now regret not joining under the command of the great god Fangfan and mixing with him. Now apply to join the Thousand Nations Alliance, is there still a chance? Hey, Manson Meyer can't do it, I said it so nicely before, but now I'm down, now it's okay, everything is cool. Fake. I just want to live, why is it so hard? Bastards. It's all a bunch of goddamn bastards. I wish the Alliance of Nations to dissolve as soon as possible. Before there is no real strength to rely on, the so-called alliance is actually bullshit. In essence, it has no meaning or value. The Alliance of Nations that opposes the Alliance of Thousand Nations. Before the second plane channel appeared, they were quite united and harmonious, and they each enhanced their relationship with each other, so close. In addition, there is a war in the northern capital of China, and they can join forces to watch the war together, completely out of the way. Who will God forgive? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 493. Now, when the real disaster comes, this kind of brotherly relationship collapses in an instant, and no one wants to become a brother or sister with you. Fangfan silently closed the Tongtian ranking dialogue box with a stern look on his face. The situation is getting tougher. But for now, I only have the ability to defend the Chinese realm. As for other places, there is nothing that can be done. Fangfan sighed softly, and then directed his army to march towards Ankan. Apart from Baiduchan, Ankan is almost the place where these orcs gather most densely. As for the other cities, most of them are just a few orcs. Fangfan dispatched more than 1,000 9-star demonized beasts under his command to solve them. My lord, the entire Ankan is already a dead city. There is not a single human survivor here, all were killed by those orcs. Now they are gathering in the city to cheer. Garen came back from the front investigation, his face was very unsightly, and even the sound of breathing became hurried. The human race suffered this humiliation, and as a hot-blooded man, it was naturally unbearable. How many orcs are there? Fang Fan took a breath, and there seemed to be lightning flashes in his eyes. Anger, slowly soaring in the bottom of my heart. About 1,000,000 orcs. There are 5 king-level orcs among them. Galen reported the general information he had discovered. It is good. Then all, kill it. Use these 1,000,000 orcs to pay homage to Ankan's dead souls. Army attack. If you see an orc, kill me. I don't need prisoners. I just want to see the scene of the river of blood. Kill. Fang Fan roared, the 7 legions, the 5 king-level heroes, and the 4 great pets, all of them were dispatched. Although the overall combat unit is less than 100 people, this momentum is enough to make everyone tremble. In their eyes, crazy killing intent began to flow. Battle, battle. The will to fight to the end is eroding everything in front of you. What's up there? Is it a human race? Damn it! Didn't you say that all the humans here were killed? Why? Buddy. Go up and slaughter these ignorant humans. Go up. Kill them. Gillette came out with a round belly and an angry look on his face. Anyone who dares to show off in front of him will die. As the great lord in the orc kingdom of Tux, Gillette has such confidence and calmness. Yes. Lord Gillette. A burly orc's mouth cracked and smiled, his face relaxed and casual. In Buddy's consciousness, aren't all humans capable of killing dozens of ants with one knife? The things in front of him are not enough for him to jam his teeth. Buddy flew up and attacked Fang Fan's army directly. Roar. Go to hell. Buddy had a cruel look on his face. He thought that all the blood and food had been slaughtered, but he was worried that there was no fresh blood food. These sad human beings actually took the initiative to send them to the door. Tisk, the way of courting death, very unique. Roar. In response to Buddy, there was also a roar. Kunpeng Biming fluttered his huge wings and flew over, opening his bloody mouth. Click. Biting Buddy's body in half directly. The battle scene came to an abrupt end. Buddy. The orc commander Gillette shouted, and his face instantly turned blue. There's something wrong with these humans. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 494. Buddy is the most capable general under his command. Although he is a little worse than his realm, he is also a 1-star king level combat power. Killed in one stroke. These human races in front of them are not as simple as they imagined. Gillette thought so in his heart, but he only knew it at this time. It was obviously too late. The 2-star king level Kunpeng had already swooped down, and once his huge body was spread out, he directly crushed a group of orcs to death. Immediately after several legions, a group of heroes and pets followed up. Human race. Don't deceive people too much. Gillette let out a rage, looking at the batches of blood corpses being slaughtered in front of him, the fire of infinite anger surging in Gillette's eyes. Now only killing can let him vent a little. Boom. Gillette and Kunpeng collided, and the two entangled and fought with each other, and they fought evenly. The corner of Fang Fan's mouth rose slightly, he raised his head secretly. The commander of this orc army is actually a 2-star king. And Kunpeng Biming is also a 2-star king level battle pet. The two collided, and they were comparable for a while, but it was completely normal. Vega, Caitlin, help Biming. Fang Fan rode on the back of the ruling Unicorn King, holding a fire dragon hand cannon, and fired a cannon at the place where the orcs gathered more. Create a spark. Dark sacrifice. Vega casts dark magic, and after the infinite bonus of extraordinary evil power, the power of his dark magic is terrifying enough. Not to mention a 2-star king level orc, even a 3-star king level orc, if he is hit by his dark magic, it is impossible for him to be unscathed. What? Damn. Gillette looked at the large piece of flesh on his chest that was corroded by dark magic, and suddenly roared. Let the bullets fly. Boom. Headshot. Boom. Caitlin fired several shots in succession, aiming at the wound of Orc Gillette. The situation was instantly opened. The battle situation was initially stabilized. In the injured state, Gillette can't fight Kunpeng of the same level at all. As the fighting time continued, the wounds on Gillette's body also increased. You can't kill me. I am the lord of the Orc Kingdom of Tux. I am blessed by the great Beast King. If you kill me, His Majesty the Beast King will not let you go. Ah, HH. Gillette glanced at the king-level heroes who were besieging the surrounding area, and there was a 2-star king-level Kunpeng attacking him at any time. He also knew that he was desperate at this time. He wanted to take this opportunity to increase his momentum in an attempt to make Fang Fan feel fearful. The Orc Kingdom of Tux. Herman, do you know me? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes and flew over while sitting on the ruling Unicorn King. Prince Herman? Do you know Prince Herman? Haha. Since you know Prince Herman, why don't you stop attacking quickly? Did Prince Herman send you here? You have been surrendered by Prince Herman. Damn it! How dare you attack me? Do you know my relationship with Prince Herman? I am his most loyal. Herman seemed to be quite excited, and continued to speak, as if it was not over yet. Hellman was killed by me. Fang Fan said this indifferently, and the scene instantly cooled down. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 495. A terrified look appeared on Gillette's face. Was killed. Just such a simple explanation? Just got killed? This is so, can you be a little more casual? OMG, that's a sign of drifting. Gillette took a deep breath, her lips were trembling. Impossible, how could you possibly kill Prince Herman? Prince Herman is still in the Orc Kingdom of Turs. You're lying to me, aren't you? I don't know where I got the news of His Royal Highness. I won't believe it, I can't believe it. Gillette was shouting silently there, and Fang Fan just looked at him like that, speechless. As for lying to you, Fang Fan waved his hand. Kill it. Click. The sound of bones breaking came, and Gillette was directly split in half by Kunpeng Biming. The millions of orcs in Ankan were killed little by little, and there were also orcs who wanted to escape, but their fate was already doomed from the beginning. Death is their only end. Lord, kill 4 1-star king level orcs and 1 2-star king level orcs, get a total of 60 top quality magic crystals, and dozens of cards. These two are relatively rare. As usual, it was Galen who delivered the harvest. Fang Fan glanced at the card in front of him and nodded secretly. King level orc imprisonment card. 1-star king level legion card. King level orc imprisonment card. With this card, you can imprison orcs below the 5-star king level for 3 seconds. 1-star king level legion card. After opening, you will get a 1-star king level legion. Fang Fan couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Both cards look great. The king level orc imprisonment card will definitely be useful in dealing with high level orcs in the future. As for the 1-star king level legion card, Fang Fan couldn't help frowning. He didn't want to continue to increase the number of legions under his command, and felt that it was enough to keep the number of the 7 major legions. But now that this 1-star king level legion card is in front of him, can it be that he can bear not to use it? After opening it, you can get a 1-star king level legion combat power. Who can withstand this? Fang Fan swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said that he was not moved at all. It must be fake. Use the 1-star king level legion card. Fang Fan took a breath and used it directly. At the moment of the war, even one more 10-star legion is good, not to mention one more 1-star king level legion. This is too tempting for Fang Fan, he simply cannot refuse. Ding. Get a 1-star king level barbarian army. Fang Fan opened his eyes in surprise when the system sound came from his ear. Barbarian. Fang Fan looked at the group of behemoths in front of him and stepped back subconsciously. He needed enough space to see the faces of these barbarians. At least 3 meters high. Fang Fan's height is also about 1.8 meters, which is not too short, but in front of these barbarians, he can only reach their stomach, as long as their legs. What a shame. Meet the Lord. A group of savages knelt down on one knee and looked extremely pious. Barbarian Legion, evolvable. Level, 1-star king level. Number, 10 people. Commander, Taylor. Skills, Power of the Barbarian King, Holy Totem, Sky Strike. Loyalty, 80. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 496. Taylor. Fang Fan looked at the Barbarian Legion commander in front of him and nodded secretly. One more Barbarian Legion is equivalent to 10 more king-level combat power under his command. The number of regular legions under his command has changed from the original 7 to 8. Among them, 6 10-star legions and 2 1-star king-level legions. It's already taking shape. Orc Plain, Tux Orc Kingdom, King City, Soul Lamp Hall. Click. Click, click, click. The orcs who were on duty in the Soul Lamp Hall heard the bursting sound of the soul lamps one after another, and their faces were bloodless, especially when they saw that the slightly smaller soul lamp on the top was also shattered. Hiss. Problem occurs. The orcs guarding the Hall of Soul Lamps ran out frantically. Your Majesty the Beast King. Your Majesty the Beast King. Problem occurs. Prince Herman's soul lamp is broken. The soul lamps of the 6 king-level lords are broken. Boom. The entire royal city is restless. In the palace, King Nicholas of the Orc Kingdom of Tux stood up from the throne with a gloomy expression. Shame. This is a disgrace to our entire Tux Orc Kingdom. Our expeditionary force is on another plane, and the whole army is wiped out. 6 king-level commanders, and my son Herman. This stupid guy actually entered the human race behind my back. His stupidity cost him his life. As his father, in addition to heartache, I am even more angry. And my most loyal orc soldiers. They were also damaged in a foreign country. We must win this plain holy war. You shouldn't forget the punishment of the gods we encountered after we lost the plain holy war for the first time, right? At that time, the entire orc family was almost destroyed. In the next 2 plain battles, we have worked hard to win. But this time, we underestimate the enemy. I thought it was enough to send out a few king-level orc leaders. And the current situation seems to be far from enough. I have to stay and guard against that idiot Zales. Who of you is willing to fight in my place? Nicholas, the beast master of the Orc Kingdom of Tours, stood in the hall and looked at his ministers and generals with murderous expressions on his face. Silence is the usual atmosphere in the hall. Going out to fight, this is not a good job. The few king-level orc leaders who were sent out before were actually those who were excluded from the orc plane. This part of the orcs will be sent out. Outside the plane, what kind of danger does the ghost know? Although according to the news that came back, this human plane seems to be very weak. But plain holy war, it is not only to pay attention to one's own enemies. The previous time, the tens of millions of elites from the Orc Kingdom of Tours were all buried in the space tunnel because they came back a little late, becoming one of the garbage of the endless void. Commander Chester. You seem to have something to say. The prolonged silence annoyed the Beast Master. These guys who are greedy for life and fear of death usually look loyal, but when it's time to die, they start to withdraw one by one. No one knows what happened on the human plane. Now need a strong orc to preside over the overall situation. Under the circumstance that he was unable to conquer it personally, Chester, the supreme military commander of the Orc Kingdom of Tours, should undertake such a mission. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 497. Chester, who was named, trembled, his face full of helplessness. He has always been relatively low-key, but he didn't expect to be hit. The Battle of the Plains, in the final analysis, it is a bet with one's own life. If you win, you may not come back. If you lose, you will be cold. Chester deliberately wanted to refuse, he looked up at the murderous beast Master Nicholas, and finally chose silence. He can't court death, let alone die. Participating in the Battle of the Plains, he may not necessarily die, but if he refuses now, according to the temperament of the Beast King in front of him, he may not live long. To put it bluntly, to a certain extent, he has no right to choose himself at all. All you can do is obey. Before there is no absolute strength, to say 1,000 words and 10,000, that is all nonsense. Your Majesty the Beast Master, your most loyal servant Chester is willing to accept your dispatch. I will lead a powerful orc army to kill all these heretics on the human plane, and win this war. I will not disappoint you. Now that it's all said, the choice to give up or face the difficulties, is already obvious. That being the case, it would be better to brush a little more favorability. Chester fell to one knee with unparalleled sincerity on his face. As for what he was thinking in his heart, maybe only he himself knows. Very good. Chester. I knew it, I didn't see you wrong. When you return in triumph, I will definitely meet you in person. This time, be sure to destroy that human plane. Be sure to avenge my son. And those king-level orc leaders. My orc kingdom, immortal. Nicholas roared, and the killing intent in his eyes began to gather together frantically. After recovering Bai Duchen and Zhang Cheng one after another, Fang Fan led his army to clean up the orc army in several surrounding cities at one time. He decided to set up the battlefield in the northern capital. His plan now is to defend the northern capital. Completely block this plain channel. When those orcs reappear, they can be killed in time. This is Fang Fan's most important task right now. As for the M boundary, it's completely messed up now. The second plain passage that appeared in the M-level Huajin city, there have been a steady stream of orcs rushing out of the passage. Huajin city, including some surrounding M-level cities, has been completely occupied. The entire M realm is facing the risk of being destroyed and unified. All risks are borne invisibly. Kylan, are you, all right? Fang Fan walked up to Kylan, and saw that her face was not very good looking, and she didn't have the smile like before, and often sat there in a daze. My dear, I don't know what happened to my country of Fanlin, that's the country I built with my own hands, I don't want it to happen, Kylan shook her head weakly, her face full of grief. She is a female god of war. In Fang Fan's consciousness, she has never seen such a frightened appearance. Fang Fan saw it in his eyes and felt inexplicably in his heart. The human heart is full of flesh, and Fang Fan has complex emotions in his heart towards Kylan. From the disapproval at the beginning, to having a relationship with her in the chaos. After that, Kylan helped him a lot. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 498. Arguably, these days it's all because Kylan is guiding the trajectory of his life. If it weren't for the high-level Tongtian divine diagram brought by Kylan, he would not have been able to find nearly 300,000 Tongtian divine jade in the deep sea. And before, when Fang Fan fused the Deep Sea Overlord Bloodline card, If Kylan had not come over in time to have a relationship with him and channeled some of his energy, perhaps he would have been swallowed by the violent bloodline power at that time. After that, Kylan helped him wholeheartedly. Fang Fan saw all this. The one in front of him is indeed a goddess of war, but she is also a little girl. Fan Lingguo. This name is very meaningful. Fang Fan glanced at Kylan, and Kylan's originally dull face couldn't help but reveal a blush. This name is to commemorate the love between you and me, Kylan said with a face full of hope, while Fang Fan twitched the corner of his mouth. It seems like we haven't met each other a few days ago. Could this even be related? Humph. I don't care anyway. Kylan raised her head arrogantly and glared at Fang Fan fiercely. Fang Fan couldn't help sighing in relief as he saw that the arrogant goddess of war was slowly returning. He was really afraid that Kylan would be trapped in it and couldn't get out. When I get rid of these orcs in Baiduchan, I will go to Fanlin country. Fang Fan hugged Kylan and lightly nodded on her forehead. Kylan's body trembled, and her long eyelashes trembled slightly. Thank you, thank you. Kylan hugged Fang Fan with her backhand, and her response was even more intense. My lord, my lord. Just when Fang Fan and Kylan were in love, Galen suddenly broke in. Cough, lord, I didn't see anything. Galen turned his head, embarrassed. What can you see? I didn't do anything. What's the matter? Are you so flustered? Fang Fan turned his head and asked. Lord, over there in the Orc Kingdom of Tux. The troops have been dispatched. According to the report of an Orc prisoner I captured, this time the Tux Orc Kingdom was led by the first commander, Chester, and thousands of Orc troops have begun to come out of the passage one after another. The situation is not optimistic. When it comes to business, Galen's face can't help but show a serious look. Millions of orcs? First Commander Chester. Fang Fan's eyes can't help but flicker. Is this Tux Orc Kingdom wanting to come out of its nest? How many king-level orcs are there, have you figured it out? And that Chester, what level of combat power? No matter how many orcs come, Fang Fan is not afraid. The most important thing is the configuration of high-end combat power. The orc prisoner I captured is not of high level, and I don't know a lot of information, but according to his memory, Chester was a 4-star king-level realm a long time ago. In addition, there are at least 30 king-level orc leaders accompanying. As Galen spoke, Fang Fan's expression became colder and colder. How can this situation be a little bit bad? Clearly it was terrible. 4-star king-level orc commander. Just this one, the king-level combat power under Fang Fan's command is quite difficult to fight. To be precise, there is no possibility of confrontation at all. I still have a few potential explosive cards in my hand, which can improve the 1-star combat power of several king-level combat power. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 499. Fang Fan suddenly thought of it in his heart, and then shook his head. It's a pity that the level is so different, even the potential burst card is useless. God of Doom. Are you playing me? The fighting power of this orc plane is obviously much stronger than that of the Earth star plane. This is simply an unequal battle. Fang Fan secretly complained in his heart, but the fact still had to be accepted. My lord, I suggest that we temporarily withdraw from the northern capital city. The strength of the orc army is too strong, and we must avoid its edge. This is Galen's most loyal advice. From his point of view, it is too risky to choose resistance now. Even, there is the possibility of ruining his life. Fang Fan was silent. Although Galen said it coldly, I have to admit that this is indeed the best way to maintain combat power. but there is an obvious problem in front of us. If Fangfan is evacuated, the beast tide will definitely form. Tens of thousands of orcs will directly sweep the entire China. At that time, even if Fangfan wants to resist, I am afraid there will be no such opportunity. Retreat. Impossible. North capital city is not too far from Zhang City. These orcs are not stupid. Once we give up and refuse to defend the northern capital, they will definitely move the war to other places. At that time, Zhongcheng will become the target of public criticism. The fire of war cannot be moved. The damage is too great. Fangfan closed his eyes slightly, and his mind began to turn frantically. Now he has only one goal, which is to block the army of thousands of orcs in the northern capital. Or simply destroy them here. How long will it take for them to completely come out of the plain passageway? The whole army is over. Fangfan took a deep breath. Now it's time to make a choice. At most, an hour. Galen licked his chapped lips. This number, it's an ideal number. What the real situation is, we don't know yet. An hour. Almost enough. Fangfan took a breath, and clenched his hands secretly. Satan obeys. The upper demon lord army obeys. Fangfan gave an order, and the military situation was on fire. Subordinates are here. Satan quickly ran to Fangfan. I will take these 10 recycling cards to the Acropolis. Recover 10 bunker cards. And convey my order. Order Weiken and Zhongcheng to dispatch 10,000 6-star demonized beast legions, and 100,000 ordinary demonized beast legions to come to support. Order the surrounding cities of Baiduchen. Quickly rush to help. In addition to those ordinary orc soldiers, there are dozens of king-level orc commanders, and even a 4-star king-class orc commander. All these have to be fought with manpower. Fangfan opens the World Babel ranking dialog box. Start issuing instructions. Fan Huajing country. No matter how big or small. Quickly send troops to aid the northern capital. North capital city is about to assemble an elite army of tens of millions of orcs. Now, as the leader of the Thousand Nations Alliance, I am recruiting troops throughout China. Huajing has reached the final critical juncture. How can the hair be attached to the skin? Everyone understands this truth. If anyone is unwilling to send troops, after repelling the orcs, we will definitely come to the door and behead their heads. Fangfan started to order directly on the World Tongtian ranking. A series of golden bars quickly appeared on the World Babel ranking dialog box. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 500. The World Babel dialog box explodes in an instant. My God! This is the real Doomsday. Thousands of orcs army, who can withstand this? Send troops over now, isn't it to die? Haha, what on earth did Fangfan think? He even ordered it as the leader of the Thousand Nations Alliance. This is a special place, whoever wants to die. He, if you go to die, I will definitely not stop you. But we, Kangguo, can't go there. Shuakuo agrees. How about courting death now? Our army is not enough for those orcs to stick their teeth between their teeth. There is an accident in Baiduchen. What's the matter with me? My territory is still a long way from Baiduchen. Tisk tisk tisk, who said no? Who is afraid of who? As for Fangfan's threat, it's too weak. Whether he can escape this catastrophe and escape with his life is still unknown. That's right, let's just let the elites of the Yan Kingdom fight against the orc army in Baiduchen and lose both. Then we go to pick up the bargain. The snipe and the clam compete for the fisherman's profit, ha ha ha. Didn't you hear what the leader Fangfan said? If there is no such thing as a skin, how can the generals be attached? If the northern capital is really destroyed, the army of the leader Fangfan has really been washed away. The next step is your turn. You bunch of idiots. How smart do you really think you are? There is still Alliance leader Fang Fan leading us to fight? If something happens to Alliance leader Fang Fan, who can stand up? The orcs in the M realm are chaotic, don't you understand? Our China realm was the first to have a plain passage, but until now, except for a few cities around Baidu City, the other cities are safe and sound. Do you still know the reason? Su Zheng, the lord of the country of Su, frantically speaks on the dialogue box of the world top ranking list, and it is time for life and death, so why don't you forget to fight each other? My country of Su, I would like to come out in full force and go north to support the northern capital. 8 Fangfan, the leader of the alliance. I, Li Yuan of the Tang Kingdom, hereby order. All the troops of the Tang Kingdom must assemble quickly and go to the northern capital. Lianguo, willing to obey the orders of the Fang Fan. If there is opposition, there will naturally be support. The entire Chinese territory was quickly mobilized, and not all fools were in this world. The full-scale invasion of the Orc Plain has completely awakened them. Anyone with a little brains knows that if Fang Fan hadn't been supporting the northern capital city, China realm would have fallen long ago. Under the current situation, all forces must be concentrated in one place. Support King Fang Fan. Support the leader Fang Fan. Support Huajing patron saint. Whenever there is a little accident, the whole situation will collapse. If the Chinese realm was incomparable, the iron cavalry of the orcs would have already smashed the mountains and rivers. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, watching the debate on the dialogue box of the World Tongtian ranking. His expression gradually became solemn. In wartime, those who are not united. After the war, they must be liquidated. This is what Fang Fan said on the World Tongtian ranking dialogue box, showing his resolute attitude. The entire China realm has been completely mobilized. Of course there are some uncooperative ones, but more are those who have a bigger picture. The forces from all directions have gathered and rushed to the northern capital together. Fight to the death with the orcs. There are no finished eggs under the nest. The orcs are immortal, and the human race shall perish. If there is no choice to fight against the water, sooner or later, it will go to extinction.